So let's get clear. This industry we love and know so well is incredibly complex. And if we don't understand how complex the food and beverage and hospitality industry is, we will fail to build a business that is going to work in that complexity. But with complexity, we need to think about how we're going to address complexity, and the best way to do it is through simplicity and really starting to understand what the key drivers are to building and growing a successful food and beverage business. And I say a successful food and beverage business because lots of owners I've worked with have tried to grow their turnover, they've grown their number of sites, they've grown their profitability, but unfortunately, as they've grown, the business has become weaker and the business has performed worse than it did when it was smaller. And why is that? Well, one of the main reasons is they just never got the foundations right in their business in the first place. So what I want to introduce you to here is the food and beverage growth model and a way of really looking through a very simple lens about how to grow a successful food and beverage business. Now, although you're seeing it in its simplest form today, it is really a roadmap to how you go about building your business so that when it grows successfully. So let's jump on the tablet and we'll have a look through this together. So first of all, let's get clear about what I hope you're trying to do. So in the middle here, here's what I would say that I hope you're trying to do, and it's certainly what we help our clients to do, is to build, oh, I just touched that with my arm. We are trying to build a high profit lifestyle business. So this is a business that is performing incredibly well profitability-wise, 15% or higher net operating profit, and a business for the owner where the owner is not needing to be there every single day to babysit their business, and that they've created a business that can work with or without them, so that when life gets in the way, when they want to be at their children's events, when they want to travel overseas to visit their older children, whatever these things may be in their lives, they are not tied to their business, particularly operationally, and they can truly have a lifestyle that links to their business. So with that in mind, if that is the goal, let's take a step wider at that and have a look at what really the business should be doing. So one thing it should be doing is it should be creating money, and we'll call that profit, because it is a business. It is a commercial profitable enterprise, and that's what it should be doing. And the goal, as we say, is to focus on that 15% return. So one is money. Second one that I would say that needs to be a focus, and is a focus for most people I meet, is to have some purpose behind their business that's more than just making money. And that purpose can be different things to different people, but everyone that I know that's successful and grows successfully does have a purpose about why that business exists. And I hope you have found yours. You might not have found the money yet, but I certainly hope you've found the purpose. And then thirdly, what we want to do is to create a business that provides some freedom so that there is that flexibility, that you haven't just bought yourself a job, you've truly bought yourself a business, one that's run under management or is certainly on the path to doing that. And if you've got bigger and you've scaled, then you will have done that. You don't have to be operational every day, and that means you've created some freedom from your business. Now, the test is, 1 month. Could you go away from your business for 1 month, and could it continue to operate without you? So money or profit, making money from the business, making sure there's a strong level of purpose there, and creating freedom. Unfortunately, though, that is not the case for most hospo owners, because although they've got that dream of doing that, the plan does not match it. So, what is going on? Well, we need to really get to the nuts and bolts of why this business isn't working. And it's simpler than you think. So, first of all, there is a lack of systems in the business. A lack of systems. It's a person-dependent business rather than a systems-dependent business. So that's the first thing we've got to change. Secondly, poor money management. The businesses and the finance, the way in which the business turns revenue into profit is not working. It is also not systemized, and there's no clear plan on how to do that. The business becomes a place of work, but not a place of productivity. And then thirdly, when an owner hasn't created a model that's working, they very quickly become overwhelmed by their business and everything around it. So lack of systems, poor money management, and they're overwhelmed by the business. And you might relate to that as we look at this today. Maybe not all three, but maybe one or maybe two of those clearly for you aren't where they should be. So with that in mind, then we need to look at the counter to that, because that's what we need to be thinking about in terms of building a model that will allow you to grow and grow successfully. So to do that, we need to look at the counter to all of the middle piece in terms of that orange colour, those three. We've got to do the counter to that. And here's how we would present that for you. So first of all, create. And you want to create a systems-led business. A business that is led by systems, used by people, but led by systems. Michael Gerber wrote the E-Myth, amazing book, and he talks about that the system runs a business and the people run the system. You don't want people running your businesses, you want systems running your businesses, but recruiting amazing people to follow those systems. Because if you don't, you will create a business that's key person dependence, and that is a business that's incredibly vulnerable. So number one is create a systems-led business. Number two is we've got to get good at converting, so convert sales into profit. The old saying in business, turnover is vanity and profit is sanity. And what we see in the food and beverage industry is owners focusing all their attention on that top line revenue without putting the same energy and effort to actually what's dropping out the bottom, which is the profitability. And that's really poor money management that's going on in that business. So learning how to convert those sales, 1 million, 1.5, 2 million, 10 million, 50 million, into a predictable return, that has to be key and has to be part of the mastery of your business. And thirdly, in terms of overwhelmed, one of the ways, and the most important way to do that, is to deliver exceptional, not good, but exceptional experiences. Exceptional experience. Deliver exceptional experiences. Now, I'm going to touch on this in a wee bit more detail in just a second. So create a systems-led business, convert sales into profit, and deliver exceptional experiences. So that's what we want to do, the counter to the lack of systems, the poor money management, and overwhelmed. Now, when we look at the create, convert, and deliver, we still need to make sure that we're clear on the simplicity of what needs to happen there. Because that, when you look at that, that could feel really overwhelming. These big key rocks of your business, systems, finance, and experiences, still can feel overwhelming, and maybe it is to you still right now. So let's go to that outer layer here, and we've got just three three key aspects of the outer ring. And so let's start over at create. I'll change the color so we keep it looking interesting. So under create, to create a systems-led business, you've got to get really clear about the tools that are going to be the driver behind the departments and the systems within your business. So select the right tools is incredibly important. What are the HR tools? What are the marketing tools? What are the finance tools? Those departments of your business need to be led by a system. And that system in today's modern technology is some form of software, cloud-based or otherwise, that will do the heavy lifting for the systems build of your business. And you really need to get clear on identifying what tools are best suited to your business. And look, we touch on all of that in our programs. So blueprints, the coaching we provide there, we do an audit there of your business, find out what you're using, what you should be using, and help you along the way. So if you're stuck there, obviously, we can help you with that. But getting that selection is really important. Secondly, is once you've selected the tools, you've got to build the systems. And some of the language around that would be your SOPs, your standing operating procedures. And just a side point on that too, to build a systemized food and beverage business, if you focus on the 20% of the most important systems in your business, you will be systemizing your business at a level that would make your business so much more successful than it would be today. So when you see build the systems, don't think I've got to build 100% of the systems for it to move the dial significantly in terms of your results and your ability to grow. You've just got to systemize the 20%, the most important systems. So that's the second part of building a systems-led business. And third is a focus and an unwavering focus on the ability to streamline the operations. Because if you do not streamline operations, you will be that operational babysitter of your business, because you won't have managers following great systems. You will feel like you've got to be there all the time to oversee, and you'll become this living camera watching your business, and that's just not going to work, and you will not be able to grow because you can't be there 24/7. And if you've got any thoughts of growing beyond one site, well, clearly you're never going to be able to successfully grow beyond one site if you have to be at the first site you've got for 70 hours a week. So we've got to streamline the operations, select the tools, build the SOPs and build the systems, and streamline operations. That is how you go about focusing on creating a systems-led business. Now, the second part is convert sales into profit. So let's have a look at that. So first under here is you need to know your numbers. And know your numbers means knowing the numbers you're currently doing, really knowing that well, which unfortunately, most people I meet or have met over the last 25 years really don't know their numbers. They guess. When I ask them, what's your cost of goods year to date? What's your wages year to date? I don't know, I wouldn't know. I mean, really, you are not going to convert sales into profit if you don't know some of the most important numbers of your business. So one is to know the current numbers of your business, but secondly is to know the best practice numbers. And again, that's something I unpack significantly in both the workshops and programs that I run to really understand what best practice is. Because if you're not shooting for great numbers, you will just create financial mediocrity in your business because you're not even targeting the best numbers. So know your current numbers, know the best practice numbers, and chase those down. Secondly, in terms of what we do here to convert sales into profit, is making sure that we are managing that Making that work better for me. Hold on, I'm just going to change that around there. We really need to master the process of money management. You've got to master the process. So that is cost of goods management, wage management, invoicing, payroll, everything that is involving money in the business, right through, including the cash ups. But systemizing those, you can see all of these are linked, by the way. These aren't separate to each other. If you did 4 of these 9 and didn't do the other 5, it's not going to work. All of these are totally linked to each other. But what we've got to do is we've got to systemize and master the process of turning that revenue into profit. And the key word is to master, not be okay at it, not be good at it, but to be brilliant at it. Think about chess masters, how good they are at mastering chess. The business, not necessarily you directly, but the business itself needs to master that process of money management. And third, when you have mastered money management, you get to give yourself real, true, and accurate data that you can now use to make better strategic decisions around your business. But if you've got incomplete data or data that is not accurate, you will make poor decisions on what you should be doing, whether it be changing the menu, whether it be investing extra $50,000 in an outside area. If you don't have the data on what's working in your business financially, you are going to make poor decisions. So what you want to do is to know your numbers, master the process of money management, and create a data set of financial indicators that will be key to you being wiser about the finances of your business and lead to better decisions. So, and again, in the programs that I run, we unpack that in more detail. So if it's lighting you up and you're going, I want to know more, then obviously, we can help you there. And then finally, we're going to look at delivering exceptional experiences. And again, keeping it simple, these are in 3 parts. And the first one of those is when we look at exceptional experiences, it's got to start with the employee experience. Because the guest experience that you create is born out of how the employees are feeling about their experience in the business every single day. Unhappy employees or employees that are not engaged, which is actually more important, will not deliver a great guest experience because they're just not engaged enough to do that. And sadly, what we do in hospitality too much is we hire great people, we create very, very poor environments where they're not feeling engaged, and we never get the best out of these amazing people. So getting really clear about that through systemization too, by the way, systemizing onboarding, systemizing training, systemizing professional development, that is key to you not being overwhelmed and key to exceptional experiences. And then, as I said before, the next one is the guest experience. That is number 2. We've got to be doing that exceptionally well. There's too much competition around now. You have to be a 4.8 or a 4.9 on Google, consistently getting lots and lots of incredible feedback if you want to be doing well and really being a market leader rather than a market follower wherever you are, whether you're in Australia, America, the UK, New Zealand, whatever country you're in. If you aren't delivering an experience that is creating a fan, not a customer, but a fan, you are going to find making money and building this high profit lifestyle business very, very difficult. So we can never get away from the fact that the guest experience needs to be consistent and needs to be incredibly good. And then finally, when we're looking at reducing overwhelm by delivering exceptional experiences, the third one in the mix, and the research shows it, is you need to grow great managers. Gallup, who does significant research into the workplace and successful businesses, have a wonderful book called It's the Manager. And the subtitle there is that managers and team leaders is the single biggest factor in your organization's long-term success. So if you want to grow and you want to grow and you want to be in business for a long time, you want to attract great people and help turn them into great managers. And clearly what happens there is your relationship to the business, the lifestyle that you want, and the freedom that you want from the business will only come when the business is being run by exceptional people. Then you really get to become a business owner, not someone who owns the business, who's really being the manager of their business. You'll always be the manager unless you grow exceptional people underneath you. You'll always stay the captain. You never get to be the coach because the players aren't playing well enough. And the players will only play as well as the people that lead them. So, although that looks like a lot of scribble there now, hopefully you have been taking notes along the way and draw your own food and beverage growth model using what we've seen here. So I hope that helps you really think about what's important in terms of growing a successful food and beverage business. I'll start in my finishing this this video up here with saying what I said at the start, that it's important to recognize that this is a really complicated business model that you're in. Taking raw ingredients, turning them into retail products and serving live in an a la carte environment is incredibly complex. But how do we face complexity? We have to face it with simplicity. We've got to know those 20% of activities that drives 80% of the results. It's the Pareto principle. It's the 80-20 principle. And here, when you look at the food and beverage growth model that I've created, you can really see a model that is really zeroing in on the most important things. I've been very, very fortunate for the last 25 years to coach hospitality business owners, and I've loved it. But one of the things that brings me the most joy is for them to be able to see their business through a very, very simple lens to reduce the overwhelm, to get them focused on the most important things. And then when they do it, seeing the significant improvements in their business as a result of that. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope there are things that you can now go and implement in your business. Reach out to us. Our workshops, our programs are designed to help F&B owners succeed in this area of their business. So reach out, come and join one of the programs. I'll get alongside you and help you grow your business. But for now, hopefully you can use that to have a fresh look at your business. Thanks very much.